In the ancient age of the Nile, when gods walked in shadows and the night sky was believed to hold the eyes of the divine, there existed a secret order within the great temple of Ammonius, an order whispered about only in fear. Layla, a young woman chosen at birth, had grown beneath the towering columns of Karnak, trained not as a servant, but as one believed destined for sacred purpose. Many envied her. Many believed she lived an honor beyond measure. But Layla knew the truth only her heartbeat could whisper: she was not chosen, she was claimed. The night of her rite approached, and every step she took echoed like a countdown to something she could not escape. Flames from braziers flickered against the gold-etched walls as priests moved silently through corridors like living shadows. The air smelled of incense, lotus, and something else, fear. Layla's thoughts raced: why me? What awaits behind the sealed doors? Why does no one return? She had seen the older initiates vanish after the ceremony, not dead, but hollow, eyes empty, spirit erased. It was said they had become voices of the goddess, but to Layla, they looked like walking tombs, alive but soulless. On the eve of the ritual, an elderly priest named Menkaura approached her. His eyes held centuries of regret. His voice trembled, barely louder than the wind. "Child," he whispered, "the greatest cruelty is not death, it is the taking of memory. What leaves the body alive but the soul forgotten?" Layla felt her pulse jump. "What happens in the rite?" she asked, but the old priest closed his eyes and shook his head as if speech itself was forbidden, or deadly. That night, Layla dreamed of something ancient calling her name, not with voice, but with presence. She woke gasping, unsure whether it was a nightmare or a warning. Before sunrise, she was led to the inner sanctum, a place only the highest priests could enter. The chamber was vast, carved with symbols of stars, serpents, and unseen realms. A great obsidian mirror stood at the center, reflecting torchlight like liquid shadow. "The rite," the high priest announced, "will free you from mortal weakness. You will belong to eternity." But Layla's instincts screamed this was not holy, this was horror disguised as devotion. When she was ordered to kneel, she didn't move. Something inside her, a spark she didn't know she had, awakened. The priests surrounding her were stunned, no initiate had ever resisted. Their chants faltered. The high priest's gaze sharpened like a blade. "Do you refuse the will of the goddess?" Layla forced her trembling hands into fists and whispered, "I refuse the chains hidden behind your scripture." A ripple of shock moved through the room. The high priest raised a hand and suddenly every torch in the chamber extinguished at once. Darkness swallowed everything. Yet Layla felt no hand touch her. Instead she felt something ancient brush against her mind, as though another consciousness was studying her, testing her resolve. A voice, not human, echoed inside her thoughts: "Most who kneel are weak. But you fight. Tell me, do you seek freedom, or truth?" Layla's breath trembled. "Both," she answered, voice steady though her heart thundered. Silence stretched, vast, suffocating. Then the presence spoke again: "Then your rite will not be erasure, it will be awakening." Light returned suddenly, priests collapsed to their knees as if unseen force crushed them. The high priest stared at Layla with terror, not authority. Something had changed. Something ancient had chosen her, not them. Layla did not know whether to feel blessed or cursed, only that her fate had shifted. She stepped toward the obsidian mirror. Her reflection shimmered then vanished, replaced by swirling stars and the silhouette of a goddess crowned with serpents. For the first time, Layla did not feel like a prisoner, she felt like someone stepping into destiny that was never meant to be controlled by men. As the chamber trembled and the priests begged for forgiveness, Layla realized the secret they feared most: the rite wasn't meant to enslave her. It was meant to reveal power, power they could not control. And now, that power had awakened. The chamber still vibrated with unseen power as Layla stood before the obsidian mirror, her breath steady though every heartbeat echoed like thunder inside her chest. The priests remained kneeling, trembling not from devotion but from fear, fear of what they had awakened and could no longer control. The high priest tried to rise, his voice breaking as he shouted, "The right belongs to the priesthood. You cannot claim what is divine." But the mirror pulsed with light, and the voice that had spoken inside Layla's mind returned, ancient and thunderous: "For centuries you have stolen what was meant to awaken. The cycle ends now." Layla felt an invisible force wrap around her shoulders, not painful, not binding, but guiding, like the gentle hand of a mother leading a child toward truth. For the first time in her life, she did not feel owned, trapped, or chosen by others, she felt chosen by herself. The mirror swirled like a storm, showing flashes of memory not her own, past initiates whose spirits had been forced into silence, their identities erased so the priesthood could use them as vessels of ritual magic. Their hollow eyes, their silent screams, Layla finally understood, they had not been blessed, they had been erased. A tremor ran through her, not fear, but righteous fury. The goddess's voice softened, "Do you wish to save them? Or leave them forgotten?" Layla closed her eyes and whispered, "If power means walking over the broken memories of others, then it is not divine, it is cruelty. I came here seeking truth. If truth comes with responsibility, I accept it." The mirror flared with blinding light. The ground shook. The priests clutched their ears as whispers filled the chamber, not whispers of men, but echoes of lost souls returning. Shapes appeared within the mirror, faces of the erased initiates, their expressions shifting from torment to recognition as if waking from eternal sleep. Layla extended her hand instinctively, and the mirror responded, the surface rippling like water until her palm slipped through as if breaking a boundary between worlds. The chamber gasped as the mirror expanded into a doorway of starlight. Layla stepped inside without hesitation. The world she entered was not physical, she stood in a realm made of memory, energy, and soul. The lost initiates surrounded her, not violent or angry but pleading, eyes filled with years of silence. She spoke gently, "Your story will not end in shadows." With a voice that felt both hers and the goddess's, she declared, "Be restored." Light burst outward. Souls dissolved, not into emptiness, but into peace. Their pain faded, replaced by release, finally free from the chains the priesthood had wrapped around them. When Layla emerged back into the chamber, the mirror shattered, not violently, but like glass turning into dust, drifting upward as if returning to the heavens. The power in the room collapsed onto the priests, leaving them weak, stripped of authority. The high priest stared at her with broken disbelief. "What have you done?" he whispered. Layla stepped forward, her presence no longer mortal but deeply, calmly sovereign. "What should have been done long ago," she replied. "Truth is not meant to be hidden under fear." The torches burst to life again, illuminating her, not as a prisoner in ritual robes, but as a bearer of divine will. The goddess's voice whispered one final time, "You are my voice now. Not because you were chosen, but because you chose." Layla turned to the priests. "Your era of control is over. The temples will no longer feed on fear, silence, or sacrifice. Those who seek the divine will face guidance, not domination." Some priests bowed in shame. Others stared with resentment. But none dared defy her. Layla walked out of the temple for the first time without escort, without chains, without expectation of return. The morning sun washed over her like a coronation. People in the courtyard turned, shocked. No initiate had ever walked out alive, let alone transformed. But when they looked into her eyes, they did not see the broken obedience of the old ways, they saw strength, clarity, and something sacred. Word spread quickly, a new voice had risen, one the priesthood could not control. In the days that followed, Layla traveled across Egypt, speaking not in threat, but in truth. The erased were mourned, remembered. The powerless found courage. The temples slowly shifted, not overnight, not easily, but change rooted itself in the hearts of the people. Layla never crowned herself queen or goddess. She simply became a witness, proof that faith and fear were not the same. And as the years passed, legends grew, not of a girl taken by ritual, but of a woman who broke the chains of silence and turned a rite of oblivion into a path of awakening. Some said she was guided by the goddess forever. Others believed she became something beyond human, a bridge between mortal and divine. But every version ended the same way, Layla became a symbol. Not of suffering, but of sovereignty. And her story whispered across generations, carrying one message: truth is the only power worth serving. If this story pulled you into the shadows of ancient mystery and truth, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because more untold legends are waiting to be uncovered, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.